Good Monday evening and welcome to the Ncwlife Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window, and it's a wet weather window today. Rain showers began falling last night and we have seen drizzle and actually even some light rain showers around parts of north central Washington all afternoon today. Haven't picked up a large amount of rain, but it's just been one of those days, hasn't it? Some fog, some mist out there, and very cool temperatures. And it's not going away anytime real soon. In fact, we can expect this kind of weather overnight and into Tuesday as well. Showers, especially in the eastern part of the state, will linger into Wednesday. But for us, most of the rain will be tonight and once again tomorrow morning, where we could see up to 1/4 of an inch of rain. And we've picked up about 2/10 of an inch of rain since Friday. And we'll have all those details coming up for you a little bit later on in your weather forecast. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. The Wenatchee man arrested last month, wanted on suspicion of kidnapping and rape in Ohio, has been sentenced. And a police SWAT team was called in Saturday night to help arrest a man after a standoff at a home in Mattawa. But first, we begin tonight. Wenatchee police say you're asking for trouble if you leave your car unlocked at night. Numerous car thefts have been reported around the city recently, and Captain Edgar Reinfeld says most of them involved unlocked cars parked along the street.
And they're scattered all over the city, but pretty much all north of Cherry Street, which is the only real thing tying them together, aside from the fact that all but one or two of these involved a vehicle being left unlocked and valuables left in the open. We did have one with a broken window to get at a wallet.
No suspects have been identified. Reinfeld also reminds vehicle owners not to leave their cars unattended while warming up the engine. He says the number of stolen vehicle reports always increase when morning temperatures start to drop at this time of year. Well, the Wenatchee man arrested last month, wanted on suspicion of kidnapping and rape in Ohio, has been sentenced. 40-year-old Nadja Stokes was officially charged in Columbus, Ohio last Thursday with 5 counts of rape, 2 counts of kidnapping, and 1 count of felonious assault. Wenatchee Police Department Captain Edgar Reinfeld says police knew of Stokes, but he didn't have an extensive criminal record locally.
He is from the Wenatchee area, at least in the past when he was a child. I don't know as an adult. We do not have a lot of involvements or contact with him in our history. In fact, just a couple from this year, and then going way back several years, we had a couple of contacts, but no extensive history here. So at this point, he's going back to answer for that in Ohio, and we'll see if we have any other local charges. That's still to be determined based on the incident from the night of the 15th.
Stokes is scheduled to be arraigned tomorrow in Franklin County Municipal Court in Columbus. A police SWAT team was called in Saturday night to help arrest a man after a standoff at a home in Mattawa. Grant County Sheriff's deputies were investigating a Wednesday assault of a 50-year-old woman who claimed 55-year-old Samuel Gonzalez stabbed her in the face with a broken cane. Gonzalez was reportedly under the influence of drugs when authorities arrived at the home. It was located at Road 25 Southwest. It's reported the SWAT team and deputies went to the home and negotiated Gonzalez's eventual surrender. At the time, officers feared he had overdosed on opiates and they administered Narcan. Gonzalez was then transported to Quincy Valley Medical Center and later transferred to Confluence Health Central Washington Hospital in Wenatchee. Well, coming up next, a Seattle man had to be flown out of the Alpine Lakes Wilderness Sunday after falling ill during a group hike. The much anticipated opening of a new mental health crisis stabilization facility in Wenatchee has been delayed. And the Wenatchee District School Board met in special session this afternoon to discuss the superintendent search firm contract. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the Ncwlife Evening News.
Arctic Refrigeration and Heating has been serving North Central Washington for 34 years. Arctic provides the finest heating and cooling air quality products for residential and commercial customers, along with prompt and professional customer service. Arctic also offers specialty services like custom sheet metal fabrication of ductwork, coil cleaning, as well as planned fall and spring maintenance for the overall well-being of your system. Arctic is available for emergency calls 24/7. Call Arctic Refrigeration and Heating for your heating and cooling needs.
Thanks to the help I received at Goodwill,
I have a job. I'm working now. Thanks to Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Goodwill's Employment Connection Center is a free walk-in job search assistance program designed to get you back to work. When you donate to or shop at Goodwill, you're really helping people find work.
Thank you.
Goodwill, there's more behind the store.
If you want to work in healthcare, choose the program that teaches the skills employers want. The Charter College Medical Assistant Program combines hands-on learning in the lab with convenient online learning, plus real-life experience with an externship. Classes start every 5 weeks, so you don't have to wait to launch your new career. Enroll with confidence, knowing Charter is institutionally accredited by the Accrediting Bureau of Health Education Schools, and be ready to work in less than a year. Charter College. We work to get you to work.
Welcome back. In another news, a Seattle man had to be flown out of the Alpine Lakes Wilderness Sunday after falling ill during a group hike. Chelan County Sheriff's spokesperson Kent Sisson says the 47-year-old man became sick Saturday while hiking in the Kolchuk Lake area. He says rescuers were not notified until Sunday afternoon when the man's condition worsened, leaving him unable to walk out under his own power. Sisson says the man was medi-flighted out using the sheriff's helicopter. His condition is not known at this time. Well, the much anticipated opening of a new mental health crisis stabilization facility in Wenatchee has been delayed. Originally scheduled to open earlier this summer, the 16-bed Parkside facility is being jointly developed by Chelan, Douglas, and Grant counties at the site of the old Parkside Convalescent Home. Dr. Julie Picard is the program director. She discussed the project on Ncwlife's Street Talk and Other Stuff program with host Mike Magnotti.
So we're hoping to open the end of October, and it's going to be crisis stabilization unit, which basically will be a 16-bed voluntary unit where people in crisis can come to our facility and receive the help that they need. So we'll have psychiatric provider, mental health, chemical dependency, behavioral health techs, psych techs. We'll have a full Monty array of services to hopefully help people that are in a crisis at the time that they need it.
Picard says residential units are also being developed for patients, but she says it's not been decided yet if they will be available on a voluntary or involuntary basis. The Wenatchee School District Board met in special session this afternoon to discuss the superintendent search firm contract. The board will take action on the proposed $21,000 contract to Hazard, Young, Attia and Associates from Illinois to conduct the search to replace retiring Superintendent Brian Flonis. Today's action comes amid board members Laura Jakes and Walter Newman calling for a delay in hiring a search firm because, in their words, the other school board members overstepped their bounds in the search process. They suggested an interim superintendent be hired until members of the school board work out their issues. Brian Flonis announced earlier this year that he was retiring from that post. You're watching the Ncwlife Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the Ncwlife Evening News. Stay with us.
Choose the pros, Alignment Pros. When your vehicle needs brakes, shocks, struts, or alignment, choose the experts in their field. Alignment Pros and Express Lube with a 5-star rating. The work they perform on your vehicle is as impeccable as their shop. With state-of-the-art equipment, Alignment Pros can handle all large or small vehicles, specialty cars, lifted or lowered. Alignment Pros does them all. Keep your car in top shape at Alignment Pros and Express Lube in East Wenatchee.
Bob's Burgers and Brew in Wenatchee. Only the best.
Sir, I pulled you over today to ask you one thing. Is it true that Apple Valley Honda has a free lifetime warranty on every new Honda?
Officer, I'm glad you asked. Our lifetime warranty comes free on all of our new Hondas. That means you won't have to pay a dime for any major expenses. That could save you thousands. And no, you do not have to service with us. It's a great peace of mind, officer.
Wow, my wife and I have wanted the new Accord. We'll see you this weekend.
Bob's Burgers and Brew in Wenatchee. Only the best.
Eastern Washington. It's a great place to call home and a great time to own a home. It's the ideal place to lay down roots for your family and your future. Gisa Credit Union thinks Eastern Washington is a great place to own a home too. That's why we offer all kinds of home loans with personal attention every step of the way. We're your home. For home loans, we're Gisa Credit Union.
Welcome back to the Ncwlife Evening News. Over the next 2 weeks, we'll be bringing you coverage of the 4 initiatives on the November statewide ballot. Tonight, we begin with the case for voting yes on Initiative 940 as prepared by broadcast partner TVW. Tomorrow, we'll have the argument for voting no on I-940. The initiative would require law enforcement to receive violence de-escalation, mental health, and first aid training. It also would change the standards for use of deadly force and create an independent investigation in such cases.
Hi, I'm King County Sheriff Mitzi Johanknick, and I support Yes on Initiative 940. I've been in law enforcement for over 34 years, and I have led SWAT teams, run complex investigations, commanded a precinct, and worked in community policing. I know and love the law enforcement profession. I also know how important trust is for building safe communities, and I believe Yes on 940 will increase trust and be a win-win for communities and police. I want to share some basic information about Washington State so you know where we stand. Last year, Washington had the 5th highest number of deaths from police use of force in the nation. We know that the loss of life is devastating for both families and officers. Yes on 940 addresses this by providing officers with greater violence de-escalation and mental health crisis training across Washington. It also provides first aid training for officers and requires first aid at the scene. The focus on prevention and greater training will save lives and is good for officers. Yes on 940 helps protect people experiencing mental health crisis. Up to 1/3 of those killed by police in Washington State have signs of mental illness. Yes on 940 improves mental health training so officers know how to handle difficult situations and keep people with mental illness safe. Yes on 940 also addresses a big gap in our state law by creating an independent investigation process for these tragic instances. I support a fair process to determine if an officer acted reasonably. Yes on 940 acknowledges the complex situations that law enforcement officers might find themselves in and proposes training to address the impacts of bias, stereotypes, and stigmas. People with disabilities, people of color, youth, Native Americans, LGBTQ people, and people in poverty are sometimes misunderstood in a crisis. Yes on 940 provides modern training to help officers communicate with people from different backgrounds and from all walks of life so that police better understand the people we serve. I will be voting yes on 940 because it will make our families, communities, and officers safer. It is a well-written and thoughtful proposal. Please join me in supporting yes on Initiative 940.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. But before we get into those details, let's take a look outside our weather window. And yeah, it's a wet one out there today, very cool as well. You can see Turtle Rock off in the background as we take a look back from our Arrondo Rock camera, and lots of low clouds hanging just over the Columbia River, and all of North Central Washington has been seeing that kind of weather this afternoon. Light misty rain, even some foggy conditions out there, and high temperatures today On the cool side, today we were much below normal here in the Wenatchee area. All we could muster so far, 50 degrees. In fact, it's colder than that right now. Normally we should be at 66 degrees. 45 was our overnight low this morning. That's about where we should be for this time of year. 44 is normal. 79, your record high temperature. That was set back in 1988, and 30, the overnight low, set in 1985. So far, just a trace of precipitation in the Wenatchee area. That's at Pangbourne Airport. That will be bumped up somewhat, but we did pick up almost 2/10 of an inch of rain on that rain Friday night and into Saturday morning. So we're now up to 4.58 inches of rain from January 1st until today. Sunrise this morning was at 7:10, and the sun will set tonight at 6:26. Let's put our surface loop in motion and show you what we can expect through the rest of the week and into our upcoming weekend. Here we go tonight. It's not really going to change much, folks. That's 8 o'clock. Rain is likely and cool as this system continues to ride down the backside of this gigantic area of high pressure that's been in the Pacific now for about a week and a half or so. Tuesday, rain likely, especially in the morning. We'll stay with cloudy skies. Tomorrow, it's not going to be that nice a day with temperatures struggling to get out of the 50s. And then things get nice by the time we get into Wednesday. That area of high pressure we were telling you about begins to amplify, and that will continue to drag some very nice warm air in and move it right into Washington State into Thursday. Warmer temperatures will get at least back to normal, which is about 66 degrees for this time of year. Friday, the end of the week, looks great too, with mostly sunny conditions and mild temperatures as that high area continues to move up the British Columbia coast. Let's take a look now at your quick lube and tune forecast, and it is improving, folks. I promise you that. 46 our overnight low tonight. We do have a good chance for rain overnight tonight and into our Tuesday morning, and then just mostly cloudy in the afternoon. 59 degrees your high temperature tomorrow. We'll warm up to about 61 on Wednesday with mostly sunny skies and light winds out there, and then things just get nicer. Thursday 64, 66 for your Friday high temperature. Lots of sun both those days as well with light winds. Lows predominantly in the mid-40s. By Saturday, sunny skies and mild temperature, and we will continue with that trend right through our weekend with sunny skies on Sunday. High temperatures by then right around 67 degrees. And that's a look at your local weather. Coming up next, Dan Kuntz is in for Eric Granstrom with sports and more as the NCW Life Evening News continues right after this.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service-oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. We are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
Yes, we are live from Studio 2. I am Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We got news, we got sports, we got weather, we got obscure holiday today in history, birthdays. Tom Potter joins me in studio. How are you? And Rod Cool is my guest today. The expert is my your. We're broadcasting live from Studio 4, from Studio 2, Studio 7 here in downtown Wenatchee. Time for the obscure holiday of the day. Your dog to work day. Beautician's Day. It's National Selfie Day, and in honor of National Selfie Day, I'm going to take a picture of myself.
Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Mornings at 7 o'clock on the NCW Life channel.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life channel.
Happy Monday, everybody. Dan Kuntz filling in for Eric Granstrom in the sports basement, the man cave, if you will. Let's talk Seahawks football. Cairo Santos' 39-yard field goal with just under 5 minutes remaining was the difference, and the Rams knocked off the Seahawks at CenturyLink. The final was 33-31 yesterday. On their very next possession, Seattle got the ball to the Rams' 35-yard line. They looked to be in great position for a Sebastian Janikowski game-winning field goal, but a holding call put them out of range. LA was able to run out the clock after a fourth down conversion near midfield, and that was the ball game. Jared Goff led the way offensively for the Rams, 23 of 32, 321 yards, and a touchdown, a couple of interceptions. Chris Carson was the workhorse for the Seahawks. He rushed for 116 yards on 19 carries. Good day for Russell Wilson, 13 of 21, 198 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 of which went to David Moore. Seattle falls to 2-3 on the young season, and they're off to London this week, a 10 a.m. kickoff as they take on the Raiders at Wembley Stadium. Let's take a look at the Les Schwab College football scoreboard. from Saturday. Miles Gaskin carried 27 times for 116 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Washington rushing out to a 24-7 first half lead, and they held on to beat the Bruins. The final was 31-24. Quarterback Jake Browning also had 49 yards on the ground and a touchdown to go with his 265 yards of passing and a touchdown through the air. Huskies 5-1 on the year. Gardner Minshew helped the Cougars win a track meet down in Corvallis over Oregon State, 56-37 Saturday night. He went 30 for 40, 430 yards passing, 5 touchdowns. The Cougars are also 5-1 on the season. Eric Barrier rushing for 2 touchdowns, threw for another to lead Eastern Washington to a 55-17 blowout of Southern Utah in Big Sky play on Saturday. The Eagles had 8 different people carry the ball for a total of 380 yards rushing on the day. And as you see, Central Washington, no problems there. Quarterback Riley Hennessy, 329 yards of offense, scored a couple of touchdowns on the ground and 1 through the air. Central Washington improves to 4-2 on the young season. Let's go back to high school football. Let's take you back to Friday night. The big game that we had here was at Lee Bofto Field at the Apple Bowl. The Wenatchee Panthers taking on the West Valley Rams. It was cold, it was rainy, it was wet, and a little bit of everything transpired. No problems as the Panthers defeat the Rams 50-31. Eric Grandstrom and Grant Olson were there. Highlights.
They'll turn, hand it to Nate Blauman. Blauman with a big hole across midfield to the 20, to the 30, to the 20. One man to beat to the 5, into the end zone. 55 yards on the first play from scrimmage, and the Panthers strike first. They lead it 6-0.
What a hole in the middle of that line right off the bat. Great job by that offensive line, and then Blauman turned on the speed. West Valley has given up a lot of yards against the run this year, and there's a good example of what happens at West Valley there.
Then back to Pasco Sermon, looking left, going to throw out the flat to Blauman. Wide open, has the
What
first
a
down,
block
more
by
at the 10, at the
Carlson.
5, dances into the end zone. Touchdown Wenatchee from 24 yards out. Snap back to Sermon, rolls to his right, looking in the corner of the end zone. The ball caught, and a touchdown for Wenatchee. Jordan Bickler is in there now. A bunch formation and a push into the end zone, and finally the string of 3 in a row without giving up a point is relinquished here by the Panthers as the Rams break through with 1:10 to go on a 1-yard plunge by Spencer Jolly. 5 yards deep is Sermon, waiting for the pass from center. He gets it, turn, handoff to Blauman, and right there in the end zone, the tackle is made, and it's going to be a safety. And give credit up front to Hunter Vickers, and just like that, 2 points more on the board for the West Valley Rams. They go on the road to Lewiston, face another tough quarterback, and now here they face Jolly tonight. A hold going to be called here, and the ball kicked up in the air.
That was a live ball.
Darius Carlson
that went off the foot of a
to
Panther.
the 40, to the 35, 30. Up the far sideline he goes, cuts it back to the 15, to the 10, trying to get away from the defense, to the 5, and into the end zone. Touchdown on the interception. 60-yard return for Darius Carlson.
Well, I was looking for it, and I couldn't find it at first, but when I found it, I just started taking off, and my good friend Dalton Thomas told me, hey, cut in, cut in, cut in. He was screaming it, so I just listened to him and ended up in the end zone, so yeah.
Panthers would find the end zone in all kinds of different ways Friday, including a blocked punt return by Fotis Nassar and 3 touchdowns, 2 receiving and 1 rushing by Nate Blauman. The Panthers are now 3-0 in league play, 4-2 overall with the win. Elsewhere on the Les Schwab Prep scoreboard from Friday night, the Eastmont Wildcats down in Davis had no problems. They shut out the Pirates 40-0. Ike stopped Moses Lake 20-13. Kashmir claiming the bronze shoe. They beat Chelan 30-7. Omak shut out Cascade 14-0. Brewster mauled Manson, as you can see there. Antioch 50 better than Pateras. They beat the Goats 56-6. Let's take a look at the Big 9 standings on this Monday. And it looks like this. The Panthers atop. They are 3-0 in a virtual tie with Eastmont and Sunnyside. They're both 2-0. By the way, we're going to be broadcasting the Eastmont game Friday. The Wildcats will take on the Grizzlies. That'll be a good one. Ike and Moses Lake 1-2 in league play. Davis and West Valley have yet to win a league game. Omak has the early lead in the Caribou Trail League standings. Here you look at them. The Pioneers are 2-0 in league, 6-0 on the season. Okanagan is 1-0. Kashmir is 1-1. Cascade and Chelan still looking for their first CTL win. And finally, to the Les Schwab scoreboard in Major League Baseball. The Brewers swept aside the Rockies yesterday, 6-0 the final. Milwaukee allowing just 2 runs in the 3 games in that series. They now await the winner of Atlanta and Los Angeles. The Braves stayed alive yesterday behind a Grand Slam home run from Ronald Acuna Jr. They edged the Dodgers 65 Sunday. Game 4 of that series is going on as we speak. The final score of that one will be 7-4. And the Astros, no problems with the Indians. They romped all over the Indians in Cleveland. Houston punches their ticket to the American League Championship Series. They'll take on the winner of the Yankees and the Red Sox, who will do battle this afternoon at Yankee Stadium. Those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Monday from the Sports Basement. I'm Dan Kuntz. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Dan. Last Saturday was the community open house and celebration for the newly remodeled Local Event Center at Pybus Public Market. That's the wrong, I should say the Pybus Public Market. Sorry about that. The open house included activities for kids and tours of the event center and brand new boardroom. Brenda Mandelas, a Local owner, spoke at the event and gave a brief history of the company.
Well, it is exciting to be here and see this beautiful building come to life. On behalf of Dimitri and myself and John and Susan Seebeck and Greg and Jane Mercer and Mike and Jan Skyland, our partners at Local, we are so grateful for the opportunity to be the main sponsor of this beautiful event center because this community is so important to us. Here's a very short version as to why this community is important to us. 36 years ago, a handful of local boys who grew up in the Wenatchee Valley went to high school here, returned home from their various colleges and jobs to the communities that they loved because this was home to them. This community was a place where they wanted to get married and raise their families someday. These local boys got together and started a business, which some of you may remember as Computerland way back when, which later became Local as technology changed and a little thing called the internet came into existence. Yes, when this company got started, there were no cell phones, there were no internet, no Facebook, no streaming TV, no Netflix or anything. So it's been a wild ride keeping up with all of the changes, but we are pleased that we've been able to do that and provide for this community in such a way. Fast forward to October 2018, and those local boys now have gray hair. Their children are adults, and we're standing here at the Local Event Center at Pybus Public Market in this beautiful room that has been remodeled to host countless nonprofit groups, service clubs, citizenship classes, arts and crafts events, cultural events, business meetings, children's playtime, wedding receptions, Pybus University, and so much more. All of the events that take place in this room are the underlying heartbeat of what makes this community so special. This community has been home to us for all of these years, and we're so honored to be a part of this event center and what it will do to enhance the quality of life for our friends and neighbors in this beautiful valley now and for generations to come. And yes, Pybus folks, I did plagiarize that from your mission statement. But we couldn't agree more with what that represents as well. So I'd like to say a big thank you to Mike and Joanna Walker and Steve and Gil and all of the Pybus Foundation board, and also to everyone who had a hand in donating. On the wall over there, you can see the names. And also to all those who physically made this happen and turn it into such a beautiful facility. And we just thank you so much for the opportunity to serve in this way to our community.
And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. Also, keep it right here on the NCW Life channel tomorrow morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with host Dan Kuntz and News with Steve Hare. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.
This is TV. This is TV Set Free. TV everywhere from Localtel sets you free to watch what you want, where you want. Catch your favorite networks, including live TV, ready to watch on any web-connected device for no extra charge. That's TV Set Free. Enjoy the extra value Localtel delivers with TV everywhere. Visit localtel.net and sign up today.
Hey there, Wenatchee. I'm Sean Lee, and I'm inviting you to check out the NCW Movie Guide to keep up on what movies are playing in our town.